In the vast expanse of the Gerudo Desert, where the sun scorches the earth and the sands whisper ancient secrets, a child was born under an ominous blood moon. This child, destined to shake the foundations of the world, was named Ganondorf. Among the Gerudo, a solitary male born once in a century is a king by right. But this child carried more than royal blood. He bore the mark of fate. From his earliest days, Ganondorf exhibited strength and cunning beyond his years. He wrestled with scorpions under the desert's cruel glare and survived the harsh storms that swallowed lesser beings. Among his people, he became both revered and feared. Yet, the boy who would be king harbored an unyielding question. Why should his dominion end at the borders of the desert? The gods had forsaken his people, relegating them to barren sands. He vowed to change their fate. Chapter 2: The Betrayal of the Gods. The Gerudo worshipped the gods, offering tributes to the distant heavens in exchange for meager blessings. Ganondorf, in his youth, prayed with them, but his prayers went unanswered. The gods, he realized, had turned their backs on his people, favoring the lush lands of Hyrule. While the fields of the Hylians flourished, the Gerudo struggled to wrest sustenance from the arid desert. On the night of his coronation, as his people celebrated his ascent, Ganondorf climbed to the highest dune and stared at the stars. "If the gods will not answer," he declared to the empty night, "then I shall take what they deny. Power is not granted, it is seized." His words echoed across the desert, carried by the wind to ears both mortal and divine. From that moment, Ganondorf's heart turned against the heavens. His thirst for power became unquenchable. Chapter 3: The Philosophy of Power. Ganondorf's rule began with a decree. Strength is the only truth. The weak must yield, or be crushed beneath the heel of the strong. He gathered the fiercest warriors of the Gerudo and forged them into an unstoppable force. Each day, he tested them, driving them to their limits. "You must become the storm," he would say. "For the storm bows to no one." He taught that compassion was a weakness and that survival demanded dominance. The desert became his crucible, tempering his people into weapons of conquest. Through strength, they would break their chains. Through domination, they would rise above their cursed fate. Chapter 4: The Path of Betrayal. Ganondorf's vision required alliances, but alliances built on trust were, in his eyes, fragile. He turned his gaze to Hyrule, a kingdom of lush valleys and shimmering rivers,
ganon,
ripe for the taking. He approached their rulers with a facade of humility, offering peace and trade. Behind this mask, he studied their weaknesses, sowed discord among their allies, and prepared for the day he would strike. Among his own people, whispers of dissent arose. Some questioned his ruthlessness, his abandonment of tradition, his defiance of the gods. Ganondorf met their doubts with swift and brutal justice. "Betrayal," he declared, "is the weapon of the weak. Yet let it be known, I wield every weapon." Chapter 5: The Birth of Malice. It was on the night of the solar eclipse, when the desert sky turned black as pitch, that Ganondorf's destiny was sealed. Deep in the caverns beneath the Gerudo fortress, he uncovered an ancient relic, a shard of forbidden power long buried by the gods. The relic pulsed with dark energy, resonating with his ambitions. Clutching the shard, Ganondorf felt the malice of ages flood into him, whispering promises of dominion and vengeance. With this power, he saw the path to Hyrule's throne and beyond. Yet, the relic demanded a price, the sacrifice of his mortal soul. Without hesitation, he offered it. From that moment, Ganondorf was no longer merely a king, He became a force of nature, a vessel of malice, among his people. He would not merely conquer Hyrule. He would reshape existence itself, bending it to his will. Chapter 6: The Creed of Malice. As his power grew, Ganondorf began to preach his creed. The gods are unworthy of worship. They are tyrants to be overthrown. The strong are the architects of destiny. The weak are but tools. Power is the ultimate truth. All else is illusion. His words spread among the Gerudo, igniting fervor and fear. Those who embraced his philosophy became his loyal followers. Those who resisted were cast out or destroyed. The Gerudo Desert, once a realm of struggle and despair, became a bastion of dark ambition.